Today we are deep diving into one of the most controversial cosmological theories that has spanned from ancient scripture to modern conspiracy communities, and that is the firmament theory. Whether you believe that there is a dome over the earth or it is complete nonsense, this theory has captivated minds for thousands of years and has seen a surprising revival in our modern age. So grab your favourite drink, get comfortable, even grab a pen and paper if you would like to draw along, and let's explore what the firmament is, where it has come from, and why people still believe in it to this very day. Hello and welcome back, or welcome to my channel. If you don't know what's going on here, well, I'm certainly not going to tell you. Have you noticed when influencers with big glasses get in front of the camera, they're always pushing them up in a certain manner? It's like it's the new cool thing to do. It's like they just see that and just replicate it in their videos, and I have no idea why it drives me insane, but it does. But I am a horror artist and I like to draw what I talk about in the videos. So what I do is I will talk about a topic in each video and I will draw something that inspires me by the topic. You can support me. I have a Redbubble store where I've got prints on there. I've got an Etsy store where I make felt toy patterns. If you're a creative person, jump across there and have a look. I've got horror movie characters on there. I've got my other designs, just go and have a look. And I also have a munted AI colouring in book if you want to colour in the weirdest shit you have ever seen in your life. All the links are down in the description below. Now let's get on with the video and let's get on with the drawing. Part 1. What is the firmament? So what exactly is the firmament? In its most basic definition, the firmament is described as a solid dome or vault covering the earth. The term comes from the Hebrew word rakia, which appears in the biblical creation narrative in Genesis. According to ancient biblical cosmology, God created this vast solid dome during the creation of the world to separate the primordial waters, dividing them into upper and lower portions so that dry land could appear. Think of it like a massive celestial barrier between the waters above and the waters below. Ancient Hebrew cosmology pictured a flat earth with a dome-shaped firmament supported by mountains and surrounded by water. This dome had holes or drains, sometimes called windows, that would open to allow water to fall as rain. The sky was blue because you could see the waters above through this transparent barrier. The firmament wasn't just a Hebrew tradition either. The Egyptians conceived the heavens as an arced iron ceiling from which stars were suspended by cables. The Babylonians imagined the sky as an immense dome forged from the hardest metal by the hand of their god Merodach, resting on a wall surrounding the earth. Even the Greeks and Romans had similar concepts of a great vaulted sky. So this wasn't just some fringe belief. This was the standard understanding of cosmology across multiple ancient civilizations. Part 2. The biblical firmament. Now let's get into the biblical specifics, because this is where most modern firmament believers draw their foundation from. In Genesis chapter 1 verses 6 to 8, we read about the second day of creation. God says, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Then it says God made the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament. According to biblical cosmology, the firmament was essentially a fixed upside-down container over the earth, coloured blue from the heavenly waters above it. Water for rain, snow and hail was stored outside this barrier, which had windows to release them onto the earth below. Some describe it as being made of something like crystal or very strong glass, an immense and firm vaulted structure. The book of Job mentions it's like a molten looking glass, suggesting a hard reflective surface. The prophet Ezekiel describes seeing a firmament in his visions. The likeness of a firmament upon the heads of the living creature was as the colour of the terrible crystal, stretched forth over their heads above. In this ancient worldview, the sun, moon and stars were set into the firmament. They weren't distant celestial bodies millions of miles away, but lights embedded in the solid dome relatively close to Earth. Beyond the firmament, according to these texts, lie the upper waters, and above those waters is the divine abode, where God resides. Part 3. Historical interpretations. Now, it's important to understand that not everyone throughout history interpreted these passages literally. Many early Christian theologians and scholars understood that the biblical authors were using the cosmological language of their time to communicate theological truths, not scientific facts. By the time of the classical period, and certainly by the Middle Ages, educated people understood the earth was spherical and that firmament could simply mean expanse or sky. The Hebrew word rakia could be translated as expanse or stretched out thinness. It doesn't necessarily imply a solid structure. Some scholars argue it simply means the atmospheric expanse or space itself. However, there's significant debate amongst biblical scholars about this. Some argue that the ancient Hebrews genuinely did conceive of a solid dome, while others maintain they understood it more metaphorically or poetically. What we do know is that ancient people across multiple cultures shared remarkably similar cosmological models: flat or circular earth, dome sky, waters above and below. This wasn't unique to Hebrew scripture. Part 4. The Modern Revival. So how did we get from ancient cosmology to modern conspiracy theory? The Flat Earth movement experienced a surprising revival in the 20th and 21st centuries, particularly with the founding of the Flat Earth Society, and more recently, the explosion of Flat Earth content on social media platforms. Modern Flat Earth believers often invoke the firmament as a central component of their cosmology. They claim that scientific evidence of Earth's spherical nature is fabricated and that organizations like NASA are engaged in a massive cover-up to hide the truth about the firmament dome. The modern firmament theory typically includes these elements. The dome structure. Believers claim there's a solid or semi-solid transparent dome covering a flat circular Earth. Some say it's made of a glass-like material, others suggest it's an electromagnetic barrier or force field. Antarctica as the ice wall. In this model, Antarctica isn't a continent at the South Pole, but rather an ice wall that surrounds the entire perimeter of the flat Earth disk, preventing people from reaching the edge or seeing beyond the firmament. Stars and celestial bodies. The sun, moon, and stars are said to be much smaller and closer than mainstream scientists' claims, possibly lights or projections on the inside of the dome, or objects moving between it. The waters above. Some theorists claim there are literal waters above the firmament, which would explain the blue colour of the sky. And no space travel. A core belief is that humans have never actually gone to space. The dome is impenetrable, so all space missions, satellite imagery, and moon landings are claimed to be fabricated or filmed on Earth. Part 5. The evidence claimed by believers. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm presenting what firmament believers claim as evidence. I'm not endorsing these claims. So let's look at what they point to. Biblical literalism. Many firmament believers take Genesis and other biblical descriptions as literal, scientific truth rather than ancient cosmological poetry or theological metaphor. Perspective and horizons. They argue that the way we perceive horizons, the fact that we can sometimes see distant objects, that should be hidden by the Earth's curvature, that certain optical phenomena support a flat Earth with a dome. Rocket behaviour. Some claim that rockets appear to curve or change trajectory in ways that suggest they're hitting a barrier or cannot actually leave Earth's atmosphere. The Van Allen belts. These radiation belts around Earth are sometimes cited as evidence of a barrier or part of the firmament structure. Ancient knowledge. Believers argue that ancient civilizations across the world all had similar flat Earth cosmologies because they were describing what they actually observed and knew to be true. Lack of personal experience. The argument that most people have never personally been to space or seen Earth's curvature with their own eyes, so we all just are trusting authorities and institutions. Distrust of institutions. A general skepticism towards government agencies, scientific establishments, and space organizations, believing they have reasons to hide the true nature of our world. and Arctic treaties. The international treaty restricting independent exploration of Antarctica is sometimes cited as evidence that authorities are hiding the ice wall. Part 6. The scientific response. Now let's talk about what mainstream science says about all of this. The claims of modern flat earth proponents are not based on scientific knowledge and directly contradict over 2 millennia of scientific consensus based on multiple confirming lines of evidence the Earth is roughly spherical. Here are just some of the many ways we know the Earth is a sphere and there is no firmament dome. Gravity. The way gravity works requires a spherical Earth. A flat Earth couldn't generate the gravitational field we experience, but does gravity really exist? Because gravity is somewhat also just a theory too. Ships and horizons. Ships appear bottom first over the horizon, exactly as you'd expect on a curved surface. Time zones and seasons. Now apparently the way day and night work, the existence of time zones and seasonal changes all require a spherical Earth rotating on an axis and orbiting the Sun. Other planets. We can directly observe the other planets and moons are spherical. We can see them through telescopes. Satellite technology. GPS, weather satellites, communications satellites all function apparently based on an Earth being spherical. The technology literally wouldn't work on a flat Earth model. Space missions. Thousands of people work in space agencies around the world. The logistics of faking all space missions would be impossible. But as far as I'm concerned, to discover Earth's real shape and history would give power to the people, and the higher-ups, they don't want that. And the problem with the scientific responses is that we can't observe it for ourselves. We've got to rely on these people to tell us the truth. And are they? Part 7. Why do people believe it? So if the scientific evidence is so overwhelming, why do people believe in the firmament and flat Earth? The psychology behind it is actually quite complex and fascinating. Water always finds its level. Water cannot curve. It remains flat and level. If the Earth is a globe, then water should be flying off in all directions because the Earth is apparently spinning at roughly 720,000 kilometers an hour. Religious literalism. For some, it's about biblical faith. If they accept that Genesis describes ancient cosmology rather than scientific fact, it challenges their entire theological framework. Distrust of authority. We live in an era where trust of institutions is at a historic low. Some people are so distrustful of governments and scientific establishments that they are willing to believe massive conspiracies rather than official narratives. Community and belonging. Flat Earth and firmament communities offer a sense of belonging and being in the know, part of an enlightened group that sees through the deception. Contrarian identity. For some, believing controversial things becomes part of their identity. They're the ones who think differently, who question everything. Misunderstanding of science. Many believers genuinely don't understand how scientific evidence works, how we know what we know, or how to evaluate claims critically, but some believe that the mainstream scientists are being bought off or implanted to sell a different narrative to the masses. YouTube and social media algorithms. The way content is recommended online can create echo chambers where people are fed increasingly extreme content that confirms their existing beliefs. And gateway conspiracy. Flat Earth often serves as a gateway to other conspiracy theories. Once you believe one massive cover-up is happening, it's easier to believe others. But are conspiracy theorists just picking up on certain patterns? Part 8. The cultural impact. Whether you find it ridiculous or compelling, the modern firmament theory has had real cultural impact. It spawned conventions, documentaries, countless YouTube channels, and communities of believers around the world. It's become a cultural phenomena that reveals something about our current moment in history. Are we finally learning the truth? Some see it as harmless fun or thought experiments. Others worry it represents a dangerous rejection of scientific literacy and critical thinking. The debate about flat Earth has forced educators and science communicators to think about how they explain and defend basic scientific principles. From a horror and conspiracy content creator's perspective, such as myself, the firmament theory is fascinating because it represents humanity's ongoing struggle with the unknown and our place in the cosmos. Whether the ancient Hebrews looked up at the sky or modern conspiracists question NASA, there's something fundamentally human about trying to understand the boundaries of our world, and honestly, I believe we are being lied to. It's just the percentage of how much they are lying to us about that is unclear to me, but I'd say it's pretty fucking high. Part 9. The philosophical angle. Let me offer a slightly different perspective here. Setting aside the scientific facts for a moment, there's something almost poetic about the firmament concept. Ancient peoples looked up at the sky and saw a boundary, something that separated the earthly realm from the divine. They saw structure, order, and meaning in the cosmos. In a way, modern physics has its own version of boundaries and structures we can't fully perceive. Dark matter, dark energy, the edge of the observable universe, quantum mechanics that behaves differently when observed. We've replaced one mystery with another. The firmament represents humanity's attempt to make sense of existence, to create cosmological order in their understanding. Modern conspiracists might be doing something similar, trying to find order and meaning in a world that often feels chaotic and controlled by forces that they don't understand. Now, I'm not saying that they're right about a literal dome, but understanding why people believe things, even crazy sounding things, can tell us a lot about human nature and our relationship with authority, truth, and meaning. So, what's the truth about the firmament? From a historical perspective, it was clearly how ancient peoples understood the cosmos, a flat or circular earth covered by a solid dome. This wasn't unique to Hebrew scripture, but was common across many ancient civilizations. From a religious perspective, how you interpret these passages depends on your approach to scripture. Many believers maintain their faith while accepting modern cosmology, understanding these passages as ancient people describing their world in the language and concepts available to them. From a scientific perspective, there is no firmament dome. The evidence for a spherical Earth in an open cosmos seems to be more overwhelmingly observable and verifiable by anyone willing to look at the data honestly. From a modern conspiracy perspective, the firmament has become a centerpiece of flat Earth belief, representing distrust of authority and a desire for alternative explanations of reality. Now, where do I stand? Well, as someone who loves diving into conspiracies, the paranormal, and unexplained phenomena, I find the firmament theory fascinating as a cultural and psychological phenomena. The history is rich, the beliefs are genuinely held by real people, and it reveals something about how humans construct meaning. But do I believe there's an actual dome over the Earth? Well, I'm not too sure. I do want more evidence, but I personally don't believe that the Earth is a globe. With that said, I respect everyone's journey to understanding the world, even if we arrive at different conclusions. My goal here isn't to mock or ridicule anyone, it's to explore ideas, examine evidence, and understand why people believe what they believe. Now, what do you think about the firmament theory? Whether you believe it, think it's nonsense, or fall somewhere in between, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments section down below. Now, the illustration that I drew for this one today was the thought that I got and the inspiration that I got was having like this tube with this being floating in, half of it being water, and the bottom part is actually a circular earth, and there is an ice wall in it, and then there's it's very small and it's not as detailed as the rest of the picture, but I just wanted to get the idea across that the earth could be a flat disc with an ice wall, that there's other civilizations living outside the ice wall that we can't get to. They're more advanced, and obviously the oligarchs don't want us to know about them. That's sort of like the direction that I lean more towards. I haven't fully bought into that yet. I want more proof, but that's where the idea came for this illustration, was that I do believe that the earth isn't a globe. I do think that there is some sort of flatness to it. And so this creature is plugged into a system that is being monitored by these big eyes, which is, I do think that there are watchers out there that observe us on where we are on this, this realm of existence. And that's basically what this illustration is, just representing that, with all these little UFOs flying around, monitoring the being that's like standing on top of the flat earth, just representing that we could potentially be trapped here. We could potentially have a dome over the top of us, and we are trapped. Hence why this creature's like got his hand against the glass, and he's like going, oh shit, I can't get out of here, like I'm trapped. Now, with that being said, thanks for watching, and remember, keep questioning, keep thinking, and keep exploring the weird and wonderful mysteries of our world. Now stay curious, stay creepy, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.